How's it going, everyone? It's Lee from Function Dynamic, and in today's video what we'll be doing is covering load workflows. And for this video what I've decided to do is do a little bit of side-by-side action, and on the right hand side we have the view of the application, and on the left side we have the edit mode. And this is just so I can show you the changes almost in real time. And so the purpose of load workflows is when a workflow or when a form loads, we can do specific things like automatically populate certain fields. For example, we can add the date to be the current date, reducing user input. We could also do things like hide fields or disable them. And we'll go through all of those in this video right now. So to begin, what we would do is go up and click the workflow button. And as we can see, we have the existing workflows that we covered in a previous video. But for this, what we'll do is we'll select new workflow. And by default, it has sale as the form. Now, if I wanted, for example, to go make changes to the customer form, I could select customer, but for this video and demo we'll just stay on the sale, and we're going to do it whenever it's created or edited. And we'll select for the trigger load of the form, and we'll just call it load functionality, and then press create workflow. And then like before, we have the option to add a new action, and then we can do some scripting. Now the scripting for this is very light. So there's three things that I want to cover. Actually four. The first one is just going to be an alert. The second is going to be disabling fields. The third will be hiding fields. And then the fourth will be auto-populating fields. So we'll start off with the alert, and that is simply done with alerts and then a message. So I'll just say alert, this is a test message. Now once I push save, what will happen is when I push refresh, what we'll see is a little dialog box show up on this side. So, well, let's see if that works. And of course we see the little pop-up that says this is a test message. And it doesn't have to be hard-coded fields either, so we could say today is, and then we could do plus Zoho dot current date. So just for example, we can add dynamic fields as well. So if I push refresh, it should say today is, the 15th of January 2021. And I could just push OK. So that's alerts. Normally we don't do that a heck of a lot on these fields. Now there's some cases where we might have a complex workflow in the background and need to do some validation. And you might want to have an alert if it doesn't pass a validation. There's a few use cases, but generally that we don't use alerts on load fields all that often. But what we do, however, is the hide and disable. And just as you'd imagine, hiding a field is just as simple as hide and then the field link name. Now the link name is generally what you see here, and instead of so for example, line total, instead of spaces, we'll have an underscore. So I could do anything from the form. I could do input dot, let's just hide the date for, I'll just type date field. And then if I push save, when I reload this field will be blank, as seen. So that is the power of the hide field. We could use this if there are some system variables that we don't want to the user to see. In this sales form, with what we have, it doesn't make much sense to hide anything. but that option is there. So I'll just update that, and then if I push refresh, we can see that the date field is back. Now the third thing is disabling. So there are a few things that we might want to disable in this, and that would be the subtotal, taxes, total, and the line total. Now these are all valid things to disable, just because since we have automation scripts, we don't really want users to be able to change the prices, at least not for this. Potentially you could have a discount, but then you would likely want to have a discount field and then have automation update those where need be. Reason being is because, number one, you don't want, it's prone to human error if there are set calculations. So for example, if we're adding up line totals and then applying taxes to get the total, it's the same no matter what. We know that we want to add it up, and we don't want to add any way for a user to edit it, just because it can create issues. If they by accident wipe this out, then it could affect your reports, your commissions, a whole lot of things. It's just a lot easier, especially since there's workflows, just to keep it disabled. So the way we do that is just like hi, we do disable, and then the field name. So what we'll do is we'll do disable the subtotal, taxes, disable total, and then we can also disable parts of the line items as well. So if we select line items dot line total, then this will be disabled as well. And for this, we'll actually probably keep this functionality as is. So it might be hard to see, but if I click on any of the fields, we can see that they are not updated. However, if I type in any of these, we can see that they still do fill out. So this just prevents user entering in information. It does not prevent workflows from working. So you don't have to worry about that. Now, another thing to keep in mind, if you recall that the line items is itself another form, and you can see that we've put a disable script on the line total. Now this will only apply to the sale form. And if you go directly to, for example, here, we can see that we can make changes there. So that's an important thing to keep in mind, that if you want to update it in two places, then you would have to go to the form it's embedded in as well. Now, the last thing we might want to do is we could automatically assign values to fields. So we'll start off with the date field over here, and we might want to automatically set it to the current date by default. And to do that, we can do input dot date field equals, and then Zoho dot current date. And if we push refresh, we can see that, yeah, it automatically populates with the current date. Now, of course, you could disable current date field, and that's perfectly valid. We see this in a lot of cases too, where you're just automatically assigning the date. You don't want the user to select an incorrect date, so you just know if they're creating a sale, set it as this. Now, although to keep in mind, this is the created or edited. So if you save this and then edit it another time, then this will be updated to a new date, which you wouldn't want to do. You would only want it on creation. So what we'll do is we'll keep those disabled ones and push update and then go and then create a new workflow for created, and load it, and we'll say, and we'll just simply paste that in here. So this is another important thing to notice, is that we can have concurrent workflows load on load as well. So you can have a set of workflows that load whenever it's created and edited, and you can have specific workflows that only load when created, as seen here. So if we do this, we can see that, yeah, the date field is there, and if I push submit, since I don't have much validation, well, I can't go ahead in time, but we have one from yesterday. We can edit this one and see that the date field is hasn't changed. However, this is a good thing to point out, is that since the created since the disable is on the date field only on create, we can see that we can edit this, which is something we wouldn't want. So we'll just update this and then go back to created, edited, load of the form, and add new action. Oh, we don't want to add new action. We want to click into it and then just paste that back into there. So we can see that if we go into a previous date, it's not going to change the date, but yet it is still disabled, simply because we have it disabled on create and edited on the load action. Likewise, we could see that all the totals are disabled. So this is how we would implement load functionality. Whether you already have a Creator application, are looking to get started, or just want to have a one-on-one conversation to get pointed in the right direction, always feel free to reach out to us at Function Dynamic by going to www.functiondynamic.com, click the Contact Us link, and fill in the Get Started form. Once filled in, you will automatically receive an email with a link to schedule a time that works best for you. This was Lee from Function Dynamic. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.